Hello, this is Crystal and you're watching my program Real Eyes on Cryptodealers TV. Today I have a special guest. This guy, he's based in US, but he's living in Spain. This is the founder of Aphelion P2P decentralized cryptocurrency exchange platform, Ian Holtz. Nice to meet you, Ian.
Nice to meet you.
Give me 5.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
Doing great.
How was your flight?
Long.
A bit.
Yeah.
From US or from Spain?
I actually came to Moscow from Shanghai.
Wow.
Yeah.
What you have been doing there?
Shanghai, we were meeting with partners and interviewing potential developers for post-ICO DApp development.
I got you. So if you were like speaking with the developers, so you still don't have the MVP, or you have the MVP of your platform?
We don't have an MVP. We have a goal of the MVP to be done this year. It's part of the roadmap in our white paper. The development that we've been focusing on to date is the actual ICO development. So our ICO, which starts November 15th, will be managed entirely on the NEO blockchain. So tokens will be distributed through smart contracts according to the terms set forth in the white paper, as far as the tiers, the pricing, and the bonuses. So most of our development to date has been focused on the ICO. We've got the framework for the decentralized exchange that will be shifting our focus full-time, obviously, at the close of the ICO.
Tell me please, why did you choose NEO instead of Ethereum?
It's a great question. There's a lot of reasons. Obviously, there's massive latency issues with Bitcoin. I think now, and this has probably gone down maybe even since we started speaking, the transactions per second are in the 3 range. We've noticed even during our pre-sale that they can take an hour for a transaction to go through. Obviously, there's scale issues with Bitcoin. Ethereum isn't much better. With ERC20, there's still latency issues. We're in the realm of 30 transactions a second, depending on who you ask. With NEO, we're 10,000 plus. So it's built for scale. The NEO team obviously had a vision for scalability when they created the blockchain. So that was super appealing for us. Not only does it solve for the latency issues and scalability, but it's truly open source and it's programmer friendly. Ethereum, for example, can only be developed in a programming language called Solidity. NEO is open to full suite of .NET, including JavaScript, Python, big data programs like Go is coming as well. So between those languages, it really, our estimates tell us that it's open to almost 90% of developers, which has been great. So we haven't had any trouble recruiting people to develop. That's going to absolutely help our speed to market and also our agility for community suggested additions and adjustments. So between the latency issues, the open source developer language, and also we really like the NEO community as a whole. They're really kind of tight knit. We see that there's a lot of contributions that are happening amongst the community that aren't necessarily a part of NEO Council, For example, we have City of Zion, which is incredibly helpful in various channels. So there's a big movement that's sort of happening that we've been following the rumblings on for the past few years. That's really just kind of exploded over the last year, which is really exciting for us. We want to follow kind of in that tradition and history of community-based developments and meet those expectations.
Great. I heard and I thought that today you're closing the pre-ICO round, right?
That's true. That's true.
Tell me please, what kind of token you're going to use? That will be the utility token or the security token?
It's a great question. Yeah. So the pre-sale will close today. I'm sure it'll be long closed by the time this video comes out, but it's set to close in about 8 hours from right now. During the pre-sale, those token allocations are stored on our website. Users that contribute get a login where they can see their transaction history. But as soon as the ICO kicks off on November 15th, again this Wednesday, all the pre-sale tokens that were purchased, as well as any ICO contributors, will get those tokens distributed to their Neon wallets. So right now we've been working to build sort of a custom version of a wallet. So tokens will be distributed. So to answer your question about the utility, as the ICO closes and we move into full distributed application development, that's when things really get exciting. So the tokens will be listed on exchanges as early as January, in a matter of days after the close of the ICO. And by Q1 2018 is when we'll actually launch the first version of the application. And that's when the utility of the token actually takes shape. We're aiming, and this is really the exciting part, obviously the fundraising is one piece of it to be able to fund the development. But our vision really is a world that's powered by decentralized applications. We've been following crypto for years. I got into Bitcoin a few years back. Obviously, that's fast tracked in this past year with this project. And like you and maybe many of your guests, we've just noticed really some serious and almost unavoidable challenges of the exchanges, which are required obviously for people to exchange tokens or currencies. Me, for example, being a U.S. citizen but living abroad, I couldn't get accounts with some of the leading exchange platforms. Yeah. And when I did, eventually, weeks had gone by. There's been times when my accounts were frozen because I was logging on from a device in another place. And really, those challenges to us are kind of defeating the purpose of the promise of blockchain and decentralized technology. It's taking the beauty of it and it's centralizing it, whether it's on a server, it's through a platform, through an organization managed by an entity with their rules. It limits people's freedoms by their geography or their citizenship, and oftentimes several other factors. So we saw that as an opportunity. And the beauty of it is that we're actually using the technology to solve the problem. The technology of the blockchain to actually solve the problems of the blockchain trading.
So firstly, that's why you decided to make it on the NEM, because of the speed of transactions. But anyway, you didn't answer me the question. Your token is utility or it's security token?
It's utility.
It's utility.
Yes.
And what should it do? So if I'm having your token,
Yes.
what would be the privilege for me if I'm having it?
With an Aphelion token, you will be able to initiate a transaction directly on the blockchain through other additional users who are interested in the rules that you set forth. So the terms of the smart contract between the trade will exist within the token. The token acts as a utility, or for lack of a better term, an escrow device. So you will set forth the rules of what you're proposing to be traded, which currency, which amount, what duration, and once somebody, and then that proposal, if you will, resides as utility within the Aphelion token on the blockchain. Those rules then are that smart contract becomes available instantly.
And then you're going to, if I'm using it, so then you're going to burn it, right?
So that's another great question. We have several paths forward. We haven't made an announcement on exactly what path we're going to anchor on for several reasons. We want to test the scenarios, number one, of the user experience and the actual journey, but more importantly, we want to understand the impact of those different paths on the token and the application itself. So, for example, if the Aphelion token is burned in that transaction as users exchange, eventually it cannibalizes itself to zero. So there's no benefit, right, in the long term for the application.
But actually, it sounds really good. It sounds very good. If I want to do something on the platform, I need to give you a token that will give me a permission to do something.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So that's a really great idea. That's the point.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I don't need to pay even with kinds of ERC20 tokens with the Ethereum smart contracts, paying with the gas and so on and so forth. Like, this is great, but only one thing that I can't understand, how you will use it in your system.
Yeah. So and another great question to follow up from before. Another one of the paths, if it's not burnt, we also are testing the idea that it's locked. Okay, so it could be locked and it could be re-released for purchase or trade, but without minimizing the market cap. So almost like a gas scenario. We also have an idea to potentially do a hard fork on Neo, which would create a separate chain where the Aphelion token would actually have future value similar to a gas scenario. So again, and there's a few other scenarios as well. But what was the last question?
And the last question was about the using, but I got your point about the using. Yeah, you just answered me on this question.
Okay, perfect.
Like, that's perfect. And then if you will if you will decide to make a hard fork of the Neo, so
total speculation at this point, by the way.
Oh, of course, of course. You know, the crypto right now, it's all about the speculation. It's my point.
Sure.
That's my point, and that's not bad.
Okay,
actually.
Good.
And the question is about the adding the other tokens and the other gates. If you're going to make the hard fork, so you need to have the gates for the Bitcoin, for all of this stuff, if I'm right.
Yeah, so this gets a little complicated. So right now, the plan obviously is to allow first phase peer-to-peer trades for Neo, obviously, on the Neo blockchain. Yeah, most likely Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. That's what we've been accepting in the pre-sale. Those are kind of the big three. And our token, even existing on the Neo blockchain, if somebody wants to trade Bitcoin, they'll be able to do that through the smart contracts with an Aphelion token on the Neo blockchain. So it's pretty revolutionary. It's like nothing that's actually existing today.
How will you name the Bitcoin token on your blockchain?
It will still be a Bitcoin token.
Just a Bitcoin?
It will still be a Bitcoin token. Yes, it will just allow you to trade it on the Neo blockchain directly to another user on your terms, without limits of exchanges, without security concerns. You know, you and I were talking, I think, before the interview of the hacks that are happening,
of course,
in the exchanges.
Yeah.
This solves for that. Everything resides directly in the blockchain. It's not in any centralized location. It's not in the power of any entity. But Bitcoins will be allowed to be traded directly on the blockchain through an Aphelion token. The future altcoins will be vetted and go through an approval process, and will most likely be determined by the Aphelion community on which tokens make the most sense and why. Compatibility, obviously, and they have to be really in line with the Aphelion kind of mission and vision. But as of right now, we'll definitely be starting with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Neo.
Tell me, what does it mean, Aphelion?
Aphelion is a planet at its furthest distance from its sun.
Why did you name your project Aphelion?
Well, first of all, I've been kind of an astronomy buff since I was a child.
Wow!
I love astronomy. You know, the wonders of the universe.
Are you going to visit Mars?
Great question.
When the Elon Musk will make it clear and will make it possible?
I would love to. I'd love to.
You would love to live there?
I don't know that I would love to live there. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think my wife would go for it.
Okay.
You know, my son is named Orion, and Orion is this is a little off topic, obviously, but it's another company of mine called Orion Technologies.
Really?
And the reason I bring it up, we're talking about astronomy, is Orion is NASA's mission today for the first manned mission to Mars. So it's interesting that you brought that up. Orion's spaceship is under development right now in NASA, and it's going to be, unless Elon Musk beats them, which he may.
He made it.
Yeah, exactly.
He made it about a year ago, I suppose.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Orion is NASA's version of the first manned mission to Mars.
Of the Falcon.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know your stuff.
Of course, I know. I'm a big fan of Elon Musk.
Oh, me too.
I love him, but I hate Tesla.
You do?
I think that the car needs to have diesel power or even the fuel power, not the electric power. And the sound of the engine, of the fuel engine, this is the best sound that I heard. The best sound.
Like an American muscle car.
Yes.
Yeah.
V8, V12.
Sure.
This is the great sound. I can't imagine myself riding a car without any sounds. That's hard.
Have you been in one?
I've been only on Nissan Leaf.
Ah, okay. See, so I can assure you, if you were in one, or even better yet, you drove one, you would become a fan. Yeah, I owned one.
Which one?
I owned a P85, so the high line, the high-end one, a Model S, the high-performance one. I sold it before I moved to Spain, but it was the best toy I ever had. It was fantastic, and not sure what this has to do with blockchain, but that's okay. Maybe the future Teslas will be powered. The technology will be powered through blockchain. I think that's probably in the realm of possibility. I know the exciting part for me with Tesla and Elon's project was the technology. The technology in the car was just outstanding.
Yes, but the best technology, for my opinion, is the Falcon.
Is the Falcon?
This is one of the most amazing things that I have seen in my life.
Yeah,
This is kind of strange, you know. Like I'm remembering my father when I gave him a phone and I said that you have the Shazam. You can Shazam the tracks. Right. And he was shocked. And when he saw the Falcon, he was shocked twice.
Oh yeah,
So this is all about technology.
I agree.
Let's get back to our technologies.
Please.
Yeah, with the P2P decentralized exchanges platform. I want to ask you about your competitors.
Sure.
Tell me please, how do you think, who are your biggest competitors and what are your advantages?
Yeah, so, you know, I get asked this question a lot, and you know, I'm a big believer in technology. I'm a big believer in the vision of blockchain as a whole, the idea of digital currencies, decentralized applications. So I don't really look at some of the other groups that are trying to pioneer and break through and progress through decentralized applications. I don't necessarily look at them as competitors. I think that there's room for everybody to grow and progress. You know, there was a quote even by Mr. Musk when he opened up all of his patents, you know, to the rest of the world and revolutionized the automobile industry by releasing his patents. He said, listen, if we're on a boat and it's sinking and I'm the only one that has a bucket, you know, do you think I'm gonna, you know, share that technology with the other humans to keep us afloat, right? So I sort of share that same mentality. But to give you some more specific examples, there are other groups that are pushing forward in decentralized exchanges or claim to be decentralized exchanges. There's one in particular that is also been proposed, and the white paper is available through Neo Advisors, called Loopring. Loopring is a little different, and again, we welcome progress of all kinds. But Loopring is a little different in that it has to be tied into the exchanges for the trades to actually work. So there are peer-to-peer trades that happen, but they're facilitated through the exchanges. So there's still dependency upon the exchanges, rules-based, latency. Shapeshift is another example of a decentralized exchange. And again, you know, we're anxious to see how some of these technologies pan out. Perhaps our vision can contribute and vice versa. But they're also they're peer-to-peer, but they're server-based. So their exchanges aren't happening directly on the blockchain, is my understanding. So what that means is, if their UI goes down, or their servers crash, or their servers are hacked, those facilitated peer-to-peer exchanges are susceptible to anything that you can imagine that's happening on the exchanges. So yes, there's some that are claiming to be decentralized exchanges, but none, as far as we can tell, are actually, at least today, are actually happening directly on the blockchain through smart contracts and a utility of their own tokens. That's how we aim to be different.
Great. You know, every project must be backed up by the strong team. Tell me please, who are your team and how many people you have in a team?
Great question. Yeah, so we have 3 founders. The 3 of us have worked together for years across multiple projects. And we all come from strong tech and development backgrounds. I personally have been working in technology and project management across hundreds of development projects crossing a 20-year span. One of my other partners is also a software engineer and had his own tech development firm for, I think, over 15 years, something like that. So we're strong in tech, we're strong in development, specifically in .NET, JavaScript, which is really what Neo's built on. Then we have a strong team of supporting personnel. Some are full-time. The ones that are full-time right now are developers. We have one lead developer who has a team of 4 that he's managing full-time right now. Again, they've been focusing on the ICO code. They've helped us sort of chart out what the DApp development's going to look like. We've got legal counsel, obviously, who's very active in the crypto community and blockchain specifically. We've also got a really strong team of front-end designers. Help with the user experience, obviously. They've helped with some of the marketing that's led up through the ICO. We've also got a security expert, somebody that's run their website through a pen test, for example. It's going to help us and has advised us on the vulnerabilities of the project, of the ICO, and really making sure that things are as ironclad as they can be in the murky waters that are existing today in crypto. So yeah, we've assembled a really strong team. My background is really been focused on building strong teams. So I like to put people in positions that are smarter than me, obviously, and their specialty, and that's only going to continue. So we have a vision actually of bringing on full-time. Obviously, we're going to go through a complete org restructure at the close of the ICO. So really a matter of days. We're going to be bringing on really some industry leaders to help really drive all the post-ICO development, which is going to include community development, marketing, but mostly application development. So we're really kind of, and we've got a number of candidates already that we're talking to. But again, some of the advisors and contributors that have helped will convert to full-time. But also we're going to be expanding that team rapidly, and we're going to be looking for really the best and brightest minds.
After the pre-ICO.
You got it.
Of course, because
those people aren't cheap.
Of course, because I know how hard it is.
Yes.
And that's the point. That's all about the hard and about the money.
Correct.
Everybody needs money.
Yeah.
I want to hear your opinion about the audit.
Okay.
How do you think audit is needed or not?
Definitely. Yeah.
Who is auditing your smart contract?
So right now, one of our blockchain developers is doing it for us internally. We had approached a few third parties that didn't have the capability for Neo yet. So new, there's only been one ICO that's been run on Neo. They didn't go through an external third-party smart contract audit, but it's very important for us. So we've audited ourselves in advance of the ICO, and we're actually in talks right now with a sort of a prominent third-party group that has the potential to be able to do it on Neo. So we expect some announcements, but we're definitely going to be doing an audit.
One of the greatest minds in CIS in Ukraine, this is one of my best friends there, he said one thing, that if audit 0, so the ICO is fraud.
Is that right?
Are you into it or not?
That's a pretty strong statement. I see his logic, but I can imagine, Red Pulse, I don't think went through a third-party audit. They're clearly not fraud. So I can think of a few other examples. I don't know that those two are mutually exclusive, but I don't think that's really relevant for us because we will be going through an audit.
That's great. Great. I think that the audit is one of the most important things when you're going to ICO because of the parity. You heard about that.
Of course.
Strange things are coming with the parity, like every 3 months or even every 2 months.
You're right.
I'm supposing to see kind of things every 2 months in the crypto world at all. This is a big problem, and they hadn't any audit at all.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think about the canceling of the Bitcoin fork?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a lot. It's interestingly relative for us because it was supposed to happen the day our ICO launched, which, believe it or not, our ICO launch date was set well in advance of us finding out about the fork. I've tried to do some research to figure out if it was announced before or after. I think it was right around the same time. But even if the SegWit 2 had come out we wouldn't have exactly known what the impact was going to be aligning it with our ICO. But as it grew in popularity, obviously we weren't sure what the impact would be, but we knew that there would be an impact. So when we heard that it was canceled, and again, I'll answer your question in a second, but when we heard it was canceled, I think it's probably better for our ICO in terms of the cancellation of it and the impact for the community in general. So the fork was announced by a small team of I guess major influencers in Bitcoin. And I believe a fork still needs to happen. There needs to be a solution for scalability, what we were talking about earlier. Those times and latency are just gonna grow and grow and grow with demand. And we believe that Bitcoin might be the most fascinating currency the world has ever seen. So demand is just scratching the surface, and things are gonna break. Or latency is going to become restrictive for those that are entering the market in demand. So we know that the fork needs to happen, but from what I've read, there was this sort of community outpouring that the timing and the technology behind it wasn't quite right yet. So my understanding is that they pulled the plug on that particular solution, but I imagine, and my contacts have told me that they're, I don't know if it's that group specifically, but a fork's coming. I think it'll be probably even more visionary than the last one that was announced, just because the potential of what Bitcoin has even accomplished in the market just since that one was announced. I mean, it's doubled. Right? I mean, the price of Bitcoin has doubled just since that one announced. So maybe they didn't think, long and hard enough about what the long-term impact. I would like to see a fork that that's solved for the next decade. Not for the next 6 to 18 months, right?
But everybody was running for the free money. I think so. That's my point. You have seen that. Before the fork, Bitcoin was about 5,000.
Correct.
And then when everybody said that fork will be, the Bitcoin has been grown till the 7,000. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Almost twice.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when everybody said that fork will not go on,
the
Bitcoin price just went a little down. A little bit,
yeah.
So.
The alts went up.
Yeah. A bit. I'm watching the alts, and I had it today. The waves is going really straight up.
Oh wow.
And the next question I think will be you're giving the interview for the Russian people, for the Russian market right now.
Yep.
And you know that the Waves is the leader of the DEX exchange. Why should Russian people use your project and your decentralized application, P2P application, instead of the Waves?
That's a great question. So yeah, we are here to speak to the Russian market. We've had quite a bit of early support from the Russian market with some limited marketing that we've done, mostly through forums and the like. We've had a lot of people signing up that are from Russia. And to answer your question, obviously, we know that the Russian market is very interested in crypto. Not just the government, but obviously the people as well. And we want to be able to give Russians a choice. We want to be able to show them that they can trade across border lines with who they want, how they want, on their terms, with a currency that holds value and that has utility. So we don't really look at our community or our participants or our contributors through borderlines. We look at them more as community members, and we want the Russians to feel just as part of our community as any other nation.
I'm just curious, you know Sasha Ivanov?
Yes.
Have you spoke to him?
I haven't.
And you haven't?
No.
If you will...
Have you?
Yeah, of course, a lot of times, how do you think, is it possible on your platform like to add like a gateway for the waves?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting idea, and I think certainly anything's possible.
I think that's the way.
Yeah.
Actually, because like we have like most of the people who are using the decentralized exchanges, they're strictly using the Waves exchange because they have a lot of like ways to get the Zcash, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and it's very easy to hold the money there. So I suppose that this is the great idea to make a kind of token for the Waves that will go down to your application, and then you'll change there everything you want. With the biggest transaction speed.
Well, I'm excited to learn more about that. I think it's certainly a possibility. Good idea.
Yeah, not at all, not at all. How do you think, will AI beat the humanity?
Will they beat humanity? Is that what you said?
Will it or not?
You know, there's a lot of people, including myself, who are very scared. You know, I'm optimistic about the capabilities, but I think at this point we still have control over what AI will ultimately achieve, and that's how we build it. But I also think that the world needs to come together and have some consensus on not only what needs to be regulated, but also what's moral and ethical. Putin even said recently that those who control AI control the world. I read that just a few days ago. Elon Musk also said that there's a high probability of it leading to our demise. Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest minds the world has ever known, has released similar thoughts about and warnings. So obviously there's something to be scared of.
You think that AI doesn't need to have the kind of blockchain and decentralized things inside?
Yeah, so you kind of tricked me there, right? Because before I was talking about how applications didn't need to be controlled by one single entity or one single person.
But you know, this is the separate things. We are talking right now about the AI, not about the applications.
There we go, exactly.
Yeah. So that's all about the AI.
Yeah. So AI, I think absolutely, and it might be, you know, one of the biggest challenges that's facing humanity today is the future regulation, policing, and applying moral and ethical standards to the application of AI, without a doubt. And I think there needs to be a world body. I know scientists have come together and written letters, but that's not enough. I think the governments need to come together. Right now, I think the governments are probably competing in secret. In fact, I know they are. Going back to
which one?
All of them. You know, I know the superpowers for sure are trying to building bigger and faster and more efficient supercomputers. It's happening. Japan, China, Russia, the U.S. To name a few, right? So, but it's almost like, you know, it reminds me, and this is a little bit before my time, but it reminds me of, you know, the ambitions that were happening in the Cold War. right? And we're creating barriers. Like you even see right now with the U.S. leader. Oh, we need to worry about the U.S. first. You know, I was watching him speak about this just today.
But it's all about Trump. Actually, Obama hadn't done such things as Trump did.
Correct. Yeah. So I think it goes back to my quote previously about Musk. You know, if we're on a sinking ship and you have the technology to build a bucket, we need to share that technology.
Wow.
I see the same analogy with AI. I think the governments, we have a common interest in humanity. We have a common interest in the planet. And we right now are at a cusp of being able to develop a technology through AI that I believe has the power to not only solve the world's problems, but to propel it to sort of another level. And I think the only way that we get there is through cooperation and policy.
How do you assess the ICO market?
Yeah, can I say insane?
Yes.
Yeah, insane. Yeah.
You can even say fucking insane. I'm sorry.
It's mind-boggling, and you know, it's fresh entrance to the market. It's overwhelming. You know, you read about these ICOs that
shitty ICOs.
You know, or I mean, there was an ICO that was raised that was created as a joke, and I think the guy still made like tens of thousands of dollars or something. And you know, so
we had a lot of them here in Ukraine, in Russia, in CIS. We had a lot of them, and we had even the ICO that had been written down on the paper.
Oh, right, yeah. That was it. Yeah. So I mean, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it, right? I think it's exciting because it's blossoming so fast. It reminds me of the .com era.
For real.
And, you know, everybody and their brothers getting into it. It's the next biggest thing. You have the heads of state coming out, like Bill Gates saying this is the next biggest thing. You have Amazon buying up crypto domains I just read last week. So you know that Google is investing heavily into blockchain technology. So there's clearly a trend happening that's unstoppable, right? And then when that happens, there's inevitably you know, groups of people that want to take advantage of that. There's people that want to take advantage of that for good, right? Ride that wave, invest in that technology for a good cause, right? And then there's people that like anything, you know, want to take advantage of it for ulterior motives. And then there's probably the people that are just straight frauds, right? So, you know, we saw what happened in China with the ICO ban and blocking the exchanges. We know that there was an influx of fraudulent ICOs, pump and dumps, you know, people that raised the price up, didn't have any intention on fulfilling on their promise, but they marketed and, you know, they took advantage of people that didn't know any better. So there's victims, unfortunately. So I see this landscape, and I think it screams regulation. I mean, we're not I'm from the U.S. I can't even buy my own tokens in the ICO.
What do you think about the SEC?
Yeah. So
are you afraid of that?
I don't know that I'm afraid. I respect them. We know that they've issued a statement over the summer urging people to stay away from ICOs. We know that there are, we think we followed all the guidelines to even have US people participate, but we still decided not to allow people to participate. There are some ICOs that are clearly security, clearly. And they're marketing to U.S. citizens. I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble through the SEC. I think we're going to see crackdowns. I think we're going to see regulation coming, probably in the near term. obviously we're going through KYC. We're not a U.S.-based company. We're not accepting U.S. contributions either pre-ICO or post-ICO. But U.S. citizens can still make trades when the token's deployed,
and they can still use the VPN.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't. We have tools that actually block for that. So we're confident that we don't have any U.S. contributors. We've pre-screened and done our diligence there. So, but to answer your questions about the SEC, they even released a statement just in the last few days. I know that there was some U.S. celebrities that were backing ICOs.
Yeah,
Floyd Mayweather, Paris Hilton. Floyd, just from his last fight, did a video about an ICO and they raised a bunch of money, obviously, right? So we're not trying to build our base on endorsements, and that's what the SEC actually said. They said, don't make an investment based on an endorsement. Make an investment based on the technology, on the team, on the mission, on the vision, on the experience. So the SEC again said, they could actually get in trouble for that, right? Not just the ICOs, but the celebrities.
Celebrities too.
Yeah, they got paid, right? That's almost a security in and of itself. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it all unfolds. I can't recall a time in my life, other than the .com era, when there was such hype and a boiling point, like you said, coming, and I think it's only going to grow. I think we'll see some major changes probably come down the pike from the various governments, probably in the next. I'd be surprised if we didn't see some major announcements within the next 12 to 18 months, if not sooner.
I think that I have a last question, but this is kind of futuristic question.
Okay.
Let's imagine, let's imagine that Satoshi Nakamoto has been appeared, and how do you think? How could he comment the situations that are making on the market right now?
So if he appeared.
Because this, I'm just asking you this question because I think and I suppose that the ideas and the mind of yours and Satoshi Nakamoto are pretty the same. So that's why I'm asking this question.
That might be a stretch. You're too kind.
I am. But I'm kind to all of the persons who are speaking about the decentralized applications because I'm fully into it. But I'm not totally full. I'm not totally giving a thumbs up for the fully decentralized applications. I think that all the decentralized applications need to have something centralized, like the NEM, right? You know how the blockchain of NEM works.
Yes.
So they have the decentralized sections with the centralized people, and so that's So the question is, how do you think? How could Satoshi Nakamoto comment the things that are doing and making on the market right now, with all of these forks, with all of these altcoins, with all of this stuff?
How could he? Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he couldn't. And do we know if Satoshi is even one person?
And we were speaking about the Bitcoin and so on and so forth. And he asked me, who is the Satoshi Nakamoto? I said, I don't know, and the world don't know who is that. And he told me that I think that the Satoshi Nakamoto is the artificial intelligence. I was a little shocked with that, but this is the great point, actually. Actually,
I've thought that too before.
Really?
I actually had that conversation with one of my partners not too long ago. And it's not beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, I think it might be a little bit of a stretch too, but it's fun to think about. I mean, it's one of those things where you know, he's achieved such mythic heights, you know. How does somebody create the genius and the brilliance of blockchain technology, you know, it's years so before, and it's so simple, right? And it's the next logical step in the transformation of technology and organization, and you know, sometimes the simplest ideas are the most brilliant, right? And they're usually right in front of our face. So for him to, you know, magically appear, or maybe not magically, to appear and to take command, I think it's beyond one person's control. I mean, I know that you said, yeah, there needs to be a centralized component of it. I'm not so sure about that. I think, you know, it's almost like defeating the purpose, right? I mean, do we really know what the potential is of a truly decentralized planet, unless we let it live in a decentralized way? I think that there are solutions, especially through you know, AI and blockchain technology, that will help our planet tremendously. For me and Aphelion, it's really kind of a first step to have an impact and build a community. But we have a long vision towards, you know, many other technologies that are applicable. And I don't like the thought of, you know, one person or even one group or one entity to kind of control the direction of that technology.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the last thing, we have the regular thing in our program, like we will cut it if something. Okay. And the guys keep talking to the guys to the commenters who did like a great great naming for the Hoku, or a quiz, a kind of quiz.
Okay.
With the questions for the company.
A question about the company? About
the company, yeah.
Okay, I can think of a good one. They'd have to research us in the white paper or something, but it's, so we have an acronym for the utility of our Aphelion token. The acronym is DEAL. Mm-hmm. So maybe the question can be, what does DEAL stand for?
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So the question is?
Yeah, the question is, what does DEAL stand for? The question is, Aphelion has an acronym. Aphelion has an acronym for the utility of our token. The acronym is DEAL, and the question for the audience is, what does DEAL stand for?
And how many tokens you will give for the right answer?
10,000.
10,000. And
yes.
This is the equivalent of what? Of how many dollars?
1,000 in pre-sale, 2,000 in ICO.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll be the first. You know. Because that's a lot of money, actually. 10,000 tokens.
Maybe that's too much, huh?
No, that's really too much, man.
It is too much.
Yeah, that's really too much.
Yeah. Okay. So 1,000 then.
At 2,000, I think it will be okay.
Let's do 1,000.
2,000 tokens.
2,000.
This is the equivalent of $200, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's more than great, because
perfect.
$10,000, man, that's a lot. Thank you very much. But that's really a lot.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much. I was really pleased to speak with you.
Okay.
I had a great time to speak with you.
Me too. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for me.
Excellent.
Thank you. Give me 5.
5.
Yeah. Press like, press subscription, take a look on the bell. See you later. Bye bye.